weapon was in the tire well.
And I want to say this, a bit off subject, my Opa was the head of the union of Fiat. So that is true. He was the head of the union.
Wait, did they make train cars?
No, they didn't. No, it wasn't no, it wasn't a train. As a matter of fact, he purposely made it so you couldn't fit a series of people. It was a relatively small car.
He was just following orders, I know.
No, he was giving certain orders to say, he said, stop it. My grandfather was a good man who said stop it a lot. Leave him alone. So anyway.
So basically, the Manson side of the story is that he showed up. They're saying Bobby's in jail, and we think we figured out how to get Bobby out of jail.
Yeah. So
really what I think of is a frog, Stephanie, in this situation. When you boil it in water, it doesn't know it's dying, but they just threw her right in.
Yeah.
She was just like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? I mean, this woman must have been terrified.
Yeah, she got Manson kept her out of it. She had no idea what was going on.
Right.
Because she comes and he immediately shuttles her off into one of the outlaw cabins,
because
as
she's
they
like,
call them.
So Charlie, which one of these buildings are we gonna live in? And he was like, I hate to tell her how I'm gonna fuck her tonight and then pass her to 9 other dudes. But at that moment in time, I really loved her. So I said, I'm gonna fuck you in all these shacks. He literally said it. He's like, I'm gonna fuck you in every one of these shacks, and then we'll pick our favorite. And she's like, Charlie, that's romantic.
That's actually
Can I have
nice.
some more acid?
That would be, Henry, if you ever get into the real estate game, that's great. Fuck in every house that I show you, whichever one you like the best, you get to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so she was put off on another thing, but the whole time he was like, she loved our rap. She loved what we were laying down. As soon as she saw what was up, because nothing more than a really beautiful 17-year-old girl loves than to see a bunch of just absolutely filth-covered mongrels living all over each other in a shack city.
So according to Manson, the girls have been talking amongst themselves as to how to best help Bobby. And so what they came up with, this is the best idea they could come up with.
They were so excited.
Excited about it. Of course, they've been on the Helter Skelter trip for a little while now. They'd been on, the Race War trip. Race War, a.k.a. Charlie's plan to get out to the desert.
And how they were going to dig a hole in the desert, and they were going to stay there until the race war was over, then come out and help black people lead the world. But the problem so that's the official line, and the unofficial line to remember was that Manson said that he offhandedly talked about Helter Skelter just to dig himself out of a hole.
Yeah,
right.
Within the group.
I mean, the biggest flaw in the entire plan is the idea that they're going to come out of the hole as disgusting-looking white people, like creatures from The Descent.
Yeah.
And then black people are going to be like, oh, you were all right, white person.
No, it wasn't that. They expected to come out, as far as, according to Bugliosi, their plan was to come out and black people will go, oh, thank God, we have no idea what we've been doing. We have no idea.
White people, we thought we killed all of them. We regretted it. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was the official slogan.
Right.
But what their plan to get Gary out of prison was, or not Gary, to get Bobby out of prison was, is that they were going to commit a whole other series of murders that were similar to the Hinman murders, writing things on the wall in blood like they had written Political Piggy on the wall in blood at Gary Hinman's house. That was the best they could come up with.
So literally Manson felt like, Sandra came up to him and said, Charlie's exactly what you wanted. It's Helter Skelter, like you said. And he's like, oh, bitch. That's not what I wanted, cash. I wanted money. You got to, God. What do I got to do? Gotta go play the tambourine and get my dick sucked. I gotta clear my head.
Yeah, and he tried to leave it. When they started telling him all this shit, he's like, fuck that, I'm out. He's like, I've been to jail too many times. You girls are going to get me right back into jail.
Right.
I don't like jail. I don't want to go back to jail, so I'm getting out of here. But Squeaky, she turned his words around on him, where he was caught in a trap. He said, no, you can't go. Love is one. We are one.
And that's what
Squeaky
he said, too,
good,
is that he
man.
looked around the circle, and he was just like, and at that moment in time, I was like, man, I need to get the fuck out of here. I'm going to get a dune buggy, and I'm going to hit but then I looked around, and I remember each one of them. First time we balled. First time we fought. First time I licked droplets of acid out of one of their belly buttons.
Right.
First time I spent an hour pulling body chickers out of one of their butt hairs. I remember each time with them. And he literally was just like, I can't leave them now. I gotta see this through.
Gotta ride this fucking train.
It's like the Goonies, man.
Normal profiling and people who've done drugs. where it's like you can see if you've done drugs together in a group of people for a long period of time, you do begin to develop sort of a group think.
Yeah.
And you do, and the group can move ahead of you.
Well, little do we, very underreported, Del Close, the founder of improv, was actually part of the troupe. And this is where it all began. They were just yes-anding themselves into oblivion.
So it's noon on August 8th. We're 12 hours away from the Sharon Tate murders, and they haven't even decided who they're going to kill, who's going to carry out the murders. They haven't decided anything yet.
There's a rabbit running around with a fucking piping hot cup of tea being like, there's so many decisions, so little time. I mean, I can't believe they were able to handle the stress.
Stephanie's walking around just being like, where's the coffee maker?
Not now, Stephanie.
Coffee?
And so Charlie, he said, I'll stay, but what you do is on your heads, not on mine. It's all on your head.
Yeah, Charlie, you're going to get off scot-free.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, and they said, and they all said, we understand, Charlie. There were hugs, there were smiles, there were kisses. So
and
Charlie,
the way he diffused this whole scenario, he basically said that Mary and Sandy are going to take a couple of those stolen credit cards out, and they're going to buy everybody a bunch of gifts.
Yeah.
All right? Everybody likes gifts, right? What do you want? Tex, what do you want? He's like, I want a bow and arrow. Sure, yeah, whatever you need. Just get a bunch of teddy bears and some cotton candy, and we'll have a good night, all right? Let's break it up.
Yeah. So Charlie, he goes out in search of Tex, and he finds Tex Watson in the middle of an acid trip, sitting on an old couch, slapping his legs in time to music that only Tex heard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that song.
And, we talked last week about the belladonna, and Charlie had talked to the person who was actually making the tea, and it only taken a small dose. And she said that weeks later, she was still feeling it. She said that she was having blackouts,
Jesus
that
Christ.
she was still... And Tex, he had picked up the baked potato and fucking eaten it he had picked up the belladonna and eaten it like a baked potato.
And now he's a rock star in his own mind.
Yeah.
So maybe he did it right.
Yeah.
It's about confidence.
Right.
Yeah. So by the time Charlie found him, Tex he had already heard about the murder idea, and he thought it was great. So Charlie told him, he says, Tex, you remember that black? Talking about Crow. He's like, you remember that black and what I told you when I came home after killing him? That life I took for you was your life. Bobby is my brother. He is your brother. And to save our brother, I'm asking you for the life you owe me. And then
Tex was just like,
that's a lot of math,
First of all, I don't know why this lamp is talking to me. But second of all, I'm down to do whatever you need, Mr. Lamp.
Got to. If a lamp does start talking to you, follow whatever it says.
Yeah, and then Tex, he just sat back and said, I can handle it, Charlie. What do you got planned? Because
I don't have any plans.
Is that,
It's the girls thing, just so you know that. It's the girl. So, again, Manson hits us several times in his autobiography.
Yeah.
I'm not planning it. The girls are they are planning it. They will do a thing. I don't know what it is. But I do know that they can't do it by themselves. Whatever they decide, they're going to need you, Tex. You're my go-to guy. Meanwhile, like, Tex is literally, like, hanging from his feet from a chandelier. Just going like, I'm at the gym. Hey, Charlie, look, I'm at the gym.
So that night, it's, about 8, 10 o'clock, still no plans, still like they're, right now it's
describes his meal, too, and he's like, they all had a nice meal that Brenda cooked, and he's like, Brenda can just do some lip-smacking stuff with some dumpster vegetables. I can't even believe the amount of rocks that she can fit in that rock soup. We had a glorious time, just balling, smoking, living in each other's dreams.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it was one finger prick away from being like, go feed Grandpa. I mean, it was like so disgusting the way they described that dumpster meal.
So, call came in the middle of dinner. And turns out that going around and going on a shopping spree with stolen credit cards ain't a good idea. And
no, because Charlie literally said he forgot that the credit cards were stolen.
Yeah.
He's so
he thought he got approved? He got approved by the bank?
He like legitimately, there are several times when he talks about this stuff, and it's like he just legitimately forgets that they just killed somebody. It's like he's always just trying to make it okay because he's constantly validating his existence and saying like, no, this is good. This is a family we've built. This is the family I've always wanted that I've built. No, I'm a criminal mastermind. All of this is going to go to plan because it's good now because I'm on the right path.
And that's exactly what he told the Chase Bank officer when he went and requested the Chase Bank card. There's approved. That's
and
perfect.
It's like, first of all, sir, I'm glad that you came over here. We want to help you. We're really happy to have brand new Chase customers at any given point. But if you could please put on some shoes, and if you could stop trying to finger bang the receptionist, that'd be really great.
Pre-approved.
So these girls get arrested, and for some reason, according to Charlie, after all of the rejection, after everything that has happened to him, for some reason, this is the last straw for society. Society has taken away his women. He said,
"What the fuck is happening here? On this fucked up society stripping my loves from me. I'll show them. They made animals out of us. Let's unleash those animals. I'll give them so much fucking fear that people will be afraid to come out of their houses."
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
He did, too.
It's his I will have my revenge.
Yeah.
I will have my revenge.
Revenge?
So he goes out looking for Sadie and Tex. It's 10 o'clock, 2 hours away from the murders. Still no plan at all. He ran into his new girl, Stephanie, on the way, who has no idea what's going on. He said that he walked her to her trailer and, quote, gave her a couple of kisses and a pinch on the tit, and went back out for Tex.
And that's all it takes to satisfy a new woman that was made adhered to you by acid.
Yeah.
A pinch on the tit, huh?
Couple of kisses and a pinch on the tit.
Oh, my goodness. Well.
So on his way, he sees Big Patty lying on the ground. She's
like always.
Yeah.
She's trying to shake an acid trip from earlier that day. So Charlie kicks her. He kicks her and he says, "Get up, you're going for a ride with Tex and Sadie." And so he finds.
But I'm on medium rare.
Yeah,
Sick
she's
of the
just
goddamn hamburger patty jokes, Patty. And will you just please do what I say?
some sort of blubbery meat. So that's terrible for that poor girl, though. She took acid in the morning, and then she had to go. She was dealing with the acid hangover in the back of this car, just being all big and sad.
This was one of the most active groups on acid I've ever seen.
I know.
They did everything on acid.
Right. I mean, usually you can't do that. I mean, you stay in a confined space for a confined amount of time, and when you get out, you never want to go back. They never stopped.
Yeah.
You know what the thing is that it just proves still you can't do anything on acid.
Right. You can't get away with it. Yeah.
If they had just moved to the desert like he'd been talking about for 6 months instead of just building dune buggies for no reason, then maybe none of this would have happened.
Dune buggies were pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. So he finds Tex just wandering around by himself. Tells him it's time. He said the girls don't have a place picked out.
How did anybody connect?
What?
Everyone is always just wandering around or fat on the couch.
He didn't have a living room. He didn't have a couch.
So he